go! I said Lily, go! These nuts on your face!
Hallelujah! Hallelujah! Hallelujah!
OfflineTV was supposed to be the internet's version of a fairy tale. 8 friends, 1 house, endless laughter. From pranks and paintball fights to late-night gaming marathons, it looked like a dream, until it started falling apart. If you revisit their early videos now, half the faces you'll see have vanished. What happened to the perfect content house? How did OfflineTV go from a group of hopeful creators to a brand that's weathered betrayal, controversy, and public breakdowns, only to somehow come out stronger on the other side? This is the story of how a shared house of streamers quietly became one of the most dramatic and resilient forces in online entertainment. A story that begins not with fame or scandal, but with a single idea. What if streamers lived and created together?
What about that, or
excited.
My father is 70 years old.
I can't.
In 2017, former League of Legends pro Scarra had an idea. What if the magic of collaboration, something usually limited to streams or short-term events, could happen all the time, under one roof? He teamed up with his manager, Chris Chan, to build something new, a content house in Los Angeles, where streamers wouldn't just visit, but live, eat, and make videos together. Alongside early additions like Pokimane, Based Yuna, and editor-turned-housemate Fedmister, they planted the seeds for OfflineTV. The group wasn't built to chase trends. In its earliest form, OfflineTV was more about chemistry than strategy. They weren't cranking out algorithm-chasing videos. They were friends figuring out how to live and create together. That's what made it work. When LilyPichu, a musician and animator, joined the house, her soft-spoken humor added something new to the mix. Pokelols brought a goofy energy, and behind the camera, Fedmister helped bring it all to life. Early OTV content was chaotic in the best way. It felt like watching your favorite streamers become roommates in a real-life sitcom. Fans got a front-row seat to house pranks, late-night rants, podcast chats, and IRL challenges. It wasn't high production, but it was high relatability, and it worked. Viewers weren't just watching videos. They were watching a friend group form in real time. But that chemistry came with pressure. Living and working together blurred lines between friendship and business, on camera and off. And soon, cracks began to show. By 2018, Based Yuna and Pokelols had both stepped away. Yuna's exit was quiet, chalked up to scheduling conflicts and a mismatch in commitment. Pokelols, a Canadian citizen, left due to visa complications. Chris Chan and his wife Pekka, who helped with production behind the scenes, also stepped away that year to focus on family. OfflineTV was still growing, but its first generation was already shifting, and the group was about to enter a new era. As members left, others stepped into the spotlight. Fedmister, who started as the group's videographer, was promoted to full-time on-camera talent. His mischievous, chaotic energy made him the little brother of the house, always getting into trouble, but never crossing the line, or so fans thought. OfflineTV's golden age seemed to arrive with Disguised Toast. Already a rising star in the Hearthstone community, Toast moved from Canada to LA and joined the house. With his deadpan delivery and prankster instincts, he rounded out the group's comedic chemistry. Alongside Pokimane, Scarra, Lily, Fed, and house manager Ivani, who had started appearing on camera with increasing frequency, OfflineTV had found its rhythm. Then came Albert Chang, known online as Slightly Musical. A violinist and magician, he entered the OTV orbit not just as a creator, but as LilyPichu's boyfriend. Their musical duets and goofy couple antics gave the group a romantic subplot that fans adored. But the honeymoon wouldn't last. In November 2019, Lily posted a vague but emotional message about being betrayed. The internet quickly connected the dots. Albert had been unfaithful, cheating with another female streamer. For a fan base deeply invested in their relationship, the betrayal hit hard. Overnight, LilyPad became a broken dream. Albert issued a public apology and left the group. Lily took time off. The other housemates were blindsided. Some reportedly confronted Albert privately before his departure. The group didn't exploit the drama for clicks. Instead, they let the silence speak and gave Lily the space she needed. Just weeks later, a new face arrived, Michael Reeves, a chaotic engineer whose YouTube channel featured robots that did things like scream when they saw you or water plants with urine. Michael brought something new, unpredictable energy with a scientific twist. His chemistry with Lily grew quickly, on and off camera, and gave fans something to root for again. It seemed like OfflineTV was back on track. But 2020 was just getting started. OfflineTV began 2020 stronger than ever. Michael's unhinged inventions were going viral, group content was thriving, and the members' individual streams were reaching new heights. But behind the scenes, something darker was brewing. In June, amid the broader Me Too movement in gaming, two OfflineTV members, Ivani and Lily, spoke out. They revealed that Fedmister, the fun-loving prankster viewers had come to adore, had made unwanted advances behind closed doors. Both described late-night visits, inappropriate touching, and repeated boundary crossing that they had kept quiet, until now. The response from the group was immediate. Fed was removed from the house and the organization. OfflineTV released a statement affirming their zero-tolerance stance on misconduct and expressed support for the women who spoke up. Then, more stories surfaced. Female streamers in the broader OTV circle came forward with similar experiences, unwanted advances at parties, manipulation, and inappropriate behavior. The picture that emerged was of someone who had cultivated a harmless on-camera image while causing deep discomfort off-camera. Fans were stunned. Fed had been part of some of the group's most beloved videos. Now, his legacy was tainted. Some described it as the group losing its innocence. Others praised Lily and Ivani for their courage, and OfflineTV for responding swiftly and transparently. Months later, a 25-page document written by Fed leaked. In it, he attempted to refute aspects of the allegations, particularly around Pokimane, whom he accused of manipulating the narrative. Pokimane responded in a live stream, calmly debunking claims and providing context. The public consensus was clear. Fed had violated trust and was deflecting blame. By the end of 2020, Fed was effectively gone from the internet. The group, though shaken, chose healing over spectacle. It wasn't the end. It was a painful reset. Just when OfflineTV seemed at risk of unraveling, something unexpected happened. Among Us took over the internet, and OfflineTV was at the center of it. Led by disguised toasts, big brain plays, and deadpan lies, OTV's game nights exploded in popularity. Every stream felt like a crossover event. Sikuno, Valkyrie, Corpse Husband, and even politicians like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez joined the lobbies. It wasn't just a game, it was a phenomenon. OfflineTV became the connective tissue of Twitch in 2020. Their chaotic energy, natural banter, and close-knit dynamic turned every session into entertainment gold. Toast's detective antics, Lily's breakdowns, Poki's calm leadership, it all clicked. This was more than a rebound. It was a rebirth. OfflineTV wasn't just a content house anymore. They were the heart of the streaming world. Their community, bruised from drama just months prior, now laughed, memed, and clipped every moment with joy. Even individual ventures found success. Toast, previously on Facebook Gaming, returned to Twitch triumphantly. Lily and Michael signed streaming deals with YouTube. Through it all, the group stayed connected. Proof that OTV was never just about where you lived. It was about who you chose to create with. With the chaos of 2020 behind them, OfflineTV entered 2021 with a rare clarity. They'd survived emotional turmoil and come out with something deeper than before. Trust. Not just among themselves, but with their audience. Viewers had seen the group at their worst and stayed. Now it was time to evolve. That year, OTV introduced 3 new official members, Quarterjade, Masayoshi, and Sidian. They weren't random additions. All 3 had been orbiting the group for a while through games like Valorant, and fans already knew them from collab streams. Their inclusion felt natural. Quarterjade, known for her sharp humor and vibrant energy, was already a Twitch staple. Masayoshi, her boyfriend, brought chill vibes and top-tier gameplay. Sidian added something OfflineTV hadn't really had before: glamour. A model and streamer with magnetic presence, she also happened to be the first Black member of the group, bringing much-needed diversity to OTV's cast. With the expanded lineup, OfflineTV's content started to shift. The chaos was still there, but now there was polish too. Challenges became more ambitious, group dynamics more layered, and then came the Rust server. What began as a survival game experiment quickly spiraled into one of the most viral events in Twitch history. OfflineTV hosted a private server filled with dozens of the platform's biggest creators, XQC, Shroud, Myth, Pokimane, and more. What followed was part social experiment, part chaos engine. For some, it was just a game. For others, it was roleplay, storytelling, world building. But the clashing playstyles sparked drama. Accusations of stream sniping and toxicity made headlines on Reddit. OfflineTV, as admins, had to step in, pausing the server, rewriting rules, and even splitting it into two versions to meet different player needs. It was a turning point, not just for the server, but for OfflineTV as organizers. They weren't just creators anymore. They were curators of massive online events, and while not everything went perfectly, they'd proven they could lead. OfflineTV was no longer confined to their content house. In fact, by the end of 2021, they made it official. The group would no longer live together. It wasn't a dramatic breakup, it was growth. The house lease was up, and rather than lock themselves into another shared space, members decided to live separately, some with partners, some on their own. They reassured fans the brand would continue, and it did. OTV had outgrown the idea of needing to be under one roof. Their bond was stronger than a zip code. If 2021 was the year OfflineTV grew up, then 2022 was the year they went global, literally. OfflineTV's Japan vlog series was something entirely new. Shot like a travel documentary with the soul of a group vlog, it followed several members as they explored Tokyo's food, culture, and chaos together. Fans were hooked. It was the group's personalities, transplanted into a totally new environment. There were scenes of them squeezing into tiny capsule hotels, geeking out at anime shops, and navigating language barriers with awkward hilarity. But beneath the humor was something deeper, a sense of wonder. It reminded viewers why they loved OfflineTV in the first place, because watching them feels like traveling with friends. The series also marked a new chapter in the group's content style, less housebound antics, more real-world exploration, and the fans wanted more. Back in the States, OTV stayed busy. They organized game night sessions with friends and filmed cooking competitions and parody game shows. One week, it was a chaotic IRL version of Jeopardy! The next, they were trying to cook 3-course meals using only convenience store ingredients. One of the standout moments came from a crossover with fellow streamer group OTK. The two teams clashed in a Twitch game show called Parasocial, bringing together two giant fan bases in a hilarious, high-stakes trivia battle. The event was a reminder. OfflineTV wasn't just entertaining on their own. They were a community magnet, able to bring creators together and make magic happen. Individually, members were branching out too. Disguised Toast launched his own Valorant esports team under the banner Disguised, showing that OfflineTV's reach extended into professional gaming. LilyPichu won Best Music Streamer at the Streamer Awards, while Pokimane continued to lead discussions on creator wellness and harassment on Twitch. As for controversies, they were few and far between. When they did happen, like an old clip of Toast making an off-color joke, or LilyPichu apologizing for an insensitive line from years past, the response was consistent. Own it, apologize, move on. Fans appreciated the maturity. It was clear OTV members had grown, both as people and public figures. The only lingering critique came from online debates about OTV's inclusivity. Some accused the group of being a closed circle or lacking in diversity, but fans and members pushed back. OTV wasn't casting a show. They were just a group of friends who clicked, and that organic vibe was what made them work. By the end of 2022, OfflineTV felt more like a digital media studio than a content house. They had outlasted nearly every other group that tried to follow their formula, and they were just getting started. In 2023, a familiar name made a bittersweet announcement. Pokimane was leaving OfflineTV. She wasn't just another member, she was a co-founder, the face of countless thumbnails, and a central figure in the group's rise. But by this point, Poki had grown into more than a streamer. She was an entrepreneur, investor, and advocate with her own empire to build. Her departure was framed not as an exit, but a graduation. She hadn't been living in the OTV house for years, and her appearances in group videos had slowed. So while fans were sad, it didn't feel like a shock, more like the natural evolution of someone who had helped build a legacy, and was now passing the torch. The rest of the group sent her off with love and jokes, like any good OTV stream would. Pokimane made it clear she wasn't disappearing, just focusing on solo ventures. And true to her word, she still popped into group collabs and events here and there. With Poki gone, the spotlight shifted to the new gen. Quarter Jade, Masayoshi, and Sidian became central players in OfflineTV content. Their dynamic brought new energy, whether it was Sidian's dry wit, Masayoshi's deadpan chaos, or Jody's natural hosting presence. At the same time, the old guard didn't fade. Scarra, Lily, Toast, Michael, Ivani, and Broden continued to appear in high-effort skits, event-style videos, and travel content. The group, now unbound from a single house or format, had become a rotating ensemble, more flexible, more diverse, but still unmistakably OTV. And that flexibility led to some of their best work. In 2024, OfflineTV released a multi-part travel vlog set in South Korea. It was their most cinematic content yet. Gorgeous shots of Seoul's nightlife, street food hunts, K-pop dance classes, and heartfelt moments that reminded viewers just how far they'd come. From a hallway full of PCs to walking through temples in another country, still making each other laugh. Meanwhile, the group returned to hosting large-scale game servers, this time with Minecraft, reviving the communal magic of the Rust days. The server became a playground for creativity and collaboration, bringing together streamers from every corner of the internet. OfflineTV wasn't just surviving, they were thriving. It's easy to forget just how unlikely OfflineTV's story is. A group of streamers moved into a house, made videos, and accidentally built one of the most enduring content collectives in internet history. They didn't have corporate backing, no brand playbook, just a dream and a camera. Along the way, they faced betrayals, burnouts, and headlines that could have ended everything. But they didn't fold. They adapted. They grew. And most importantly, they stayed friends. In 2025, OfflineTV means more than videos or streams. It's a cultural reference, a blueprint. Proof that collaboration beats competition, and that audiences still care about creators who feel real. They helped pioneer the idea of a streamer collective that wasn't about esports or contracts, but about chemistry. They created moments that shaped Twitch culture, some joyful, some heartbreaking. And they showed, again and again, that even when the cameras stop rolling, the relationships remain. OfflineTV didn't stay frozen in time, and that's exactly why they're still here.